And Flandre's forcing down the first turret 14 minutes into the game. Now T1 starting up the second Drake. They want to try to keep stacking here. Keria disengaging as AL's on the approach. T1 grouped up as 4. The Drake is down to 2,000 HP. Faker joins up with everybody. It's a 5v5. They go in immediately as Doran tries to lead the charge with the flash estimating smash. But he's only going to be beat down himself. A lot of damage on the Doran, but he is not down. Keria into the back line. The major engage from T1. Tarzan finds a supreme display of talent and making a 1-for-1 so far. But T1 have the health bars. Faker rides the Weaver's wall as Keria's about to die into the back line. But Kael falls. Tarzan falls. T1, they'll lose Keria as Gumayusi fights back. And Shanks is on the run. Faker and Guma looking for a little bit more with the piercing arrow going over the wall. And Faker's ready to flash. Another rock is thrown. And Shanks is buried. T1, 4 for 2.
Yeah, for AL, it has to be a way of finding a bypass to Doran, but Flandre going in.
Yeah, Flandre goes in for the flash. He wants to try to find Faker here. Needs a little bit more damage. Ulti to drop the aggro, and Shanks gets the kill. TP coming in from T1, but it might be a little bit of a problem. No, Doran has the ulti. Guarantees he does not get locked up, but still.
And we've got Otacon here. T1 pushing on top side, trying to set up around it very early on. Again, the flashes will be critical here.
Oh, Hope goes forward, but immediately Keria's ready to try to respond here with the grand entrance. Hope tries to get over the wall. He sidesteps the seismic shot, but the damage from Oner is way too much. A big mistake from AL, and a bigger punish from T1. Tarzan goes in! Supreme display of talent onto 3, but there is no follow-up. Tarzan has to try to flash away. Oner goes after him, but now he's trapped. Shanks with a little bit more damage, kills off the T1 jungler. The realm warp's ready to go in, and Shanks wants another. The arrows fly out as Doran charges in. Shanks with a flash to the side to avoid the engage coming out from T1's top laner. Doran's gonna try to run. Another arrow flies out from Gumayusi as now Keria's got to be careful as he battle dances in and out of the fight. Hold on, we've got a respawn from Kael. He teleports back, and now it looks like AL is gonna take the opportunity to go after the Otacon.
AL have to try and rush this. They know that they've only got a couple of seconds until Oner's back up, and he has that ultimate available. The interrupt is huge because that will stop T1 responding with the dragon.
Exactly. All right, Faker's got some headwear, but it's AL with control over the bot side river. Oner and Gumayusi wanting to step up a little bit here. TP coming in from Doran. He's going to be the one to try to face check. Keria takes some damage from Shanks. Has to use the grand entrance to get himself back away. AL with control over the river, still 4 now. Flandre looking around in the blue buff area, but he won't find anything. Kael down to half HP already from the T1 poke. That's only going to get scarier if T1 secure this objective. Kael using the unbreakable, blocks the piercing arrow. Poke trading back and forth still between both sides. Keep your eyes on the engage, keep your eyes on Keria. Flandre digging into the pit, putting that tunnel down, making sure he has some extra mobility for the upcoming fight as T1 want to step forward. Doran then going to crush the tunnel. Kael, half HP still, going to use Redemption early here for AL just to make sure the health bars stay topped off. Flandre marked on the side, seismic shove onto the AL top laner. Chain CC on the Flandre, he's already down. T1 have found the pick. Supreme display of talent, tries to hold the line, but into the back line goes Oner. Hope is being chased. Tarzan's being killed. Anyone's legend is being crushed as Shanks tries to fight back in a 1v4, but he'll get nothing but an epitaph as T1 kill 4 and take soul.
T1 go fishing and they find Flandre. They pick him off and they decimate AL in the team fight.
Hope is trying desperately to hold on,
Faker.
but T1 are chasing.
Faker's riding the wall in. Hope's gonna be the last to die. A delayed ace for T1, and the delay makes it even better because now, even when AL respawns, they are not gonna have everyone all at once. They will not be full strength. T1 won't just take the soul. They're gonna take the whole enemy team. They're gonna take the top lane turret. They're gonna take Baron, and they're gonna take a hell of a hold on this game.
Start to move down here. They will spot out Hope, but do they know AL are in the bush?
AL trying to set some kind of a trap. They know a fair fight doesn't favor them any longer. Kael gonna be trapped on the wrong side of the Weaver's wall. Seismic shove connects onto Shanks, who immediately goes golden. But it's gonna be a 2-for-1 deal. Supreme display of talent at least takes Keria out in the process. But T1 have still won the fight. They're gonna keep pushing forward. They've got the Baron, they've got the soul, they've got the enemy tier 1 turret down. They've got Oner diving into the back line. But the escape is there.
Looks like T1 don't know where Tarzan is though. There was pings going over towards their own jungle, wondering if Tarzan managed to sneak his way in, but Dragon now started and Tarzan spotted as well.
Okay, Oner and Keria are the only two around the Dragon Pit for now. TP coming in. Faker is ready to join back up with the rest of the team after purchasing the Crypt Bloom. AL starting up the Elder Dragon now. T1 watching on, waiting for the rest of the team to approach. Elder Dragon down to about 1/2 HP. Hope taking a chunk of damage. Doran charging in. Weaver's Wall over the top. Kael's going to be caught. A ton of burst onto the support of anyone's legend. And he's already down. T1 charge forward. Double kill to Gumayusi. Pressure onto Tarzan. Triple kill Guma. AL are cut to pieces, and T1 holds the sword. Flandre's last to die, and ace for T1 will be the end of game 1.
Great force there from T1. They use their wallets and they destroy AL at the Dragon one more time.
Doran putting the last touches here on the Nexus turrets. The Elder Dragon is claimed, but there's no one left to execute. The game was quiet. The game was close for so very long. But when it came down to the clutch, it's T1 who prove why they are the reigning back-to-back world champions. They out-team fight AL, and they'll take Wukong level 3 gank potential here in the bottom lane. Keria goes in with a dredge line. A lot of damage onto Kael. He flashes away. Gumayusi flashes after. One more spinning axe is going to do it, but no! Hope denies it as Keria has to flash over the wall to escape, and T1's marksman gets punished.
Playing very aggressively on the top wave, wants to try and match a play.
Okay, creeping around from behind, trying to time this so Oner can be in position right as the wave is ready to crash. They don't want to allow Flandre to try to clear this out. Cannon Minion going to absorb it here with a star. Wind becomes lightning. Flandre with a flash away. Doran going to burn him down, but he needs a little bit more damage with the flame spitter. The turret was so heated up, it makes it a 1-for-1.
Shortcomings in the experience he had, but Flandre has hit level 6, eyeing up Faker on the Anivian this mid-wave.
He's looking for that public execution, and he finds it. Faker gets jumped on. Flandre going in, trying to proc the rebirth, and they get it. They've scrambled the egg, and there's the feat of warfare for anyone's legend.
Tarzan identifying that, holding on here in mid, so that then you can play hyper-aggressive on this mid-wave and try and find something.
And you just saw it right there. Hope's boomerang blade, his ricochet, bouncing through the wave to stop Gumayushi's back as Doran goes in from a ton of damage here with a Flandre. The public execution plus the flash to try to get away. Flash Electro Harpoon coming out from Doran! But no! It's Flandre with reinforcement from Shanks for the shield for the outplay to stop Doran in his tracks.
Wait a sec!
Makes it a 1-for-1. Gumayusi from all the way across the map strikes true, and T1 starts the Drake.
It looks so good for AL, but Guma finds the cash in with the ult from the opposite side of the map, and now AL, they need to be careful.
Yeah, AL's got to be careful here. Kael gonna have a nice keeper's verdict to make the fight unfair. Keria is your first target as Oner wants to go in after Kael now. Loses half his HP. Boomerang blade takes Keria down to 150. Faker making his way forward, but T1's not gonna find anybody. They also
Doran's
using
in behind.
the teleport now. Doran coming up behind him. The Rumble's already arrived into the fight as Tarzan tries to find some damage onto Faker. Shanks looking to cut him off. The egg, again the rebirth is triggered as Flandre's made his way into the fight and Gumayusi goes back over the wall. Tarzan kills Faker and T1 is on the run. Keria dredge lines back to safety as Shanks dives in beside Kael. A double kill for Tarzan and the Draven is dead again.
But they will need to bring him in if they want to try and make a play, in T1 trying to scope out the area as that goes.
Yeah, Keria jumps in here with the dredge line, finds Tarzan, but to no avail. Kael jumps in with the point-blank keeper's verdict. Shanks has arrived. They're looking at Gumayusi and they find the taunt. Guma's already down. T1 are routed as they try to escape from the pit. Keria now forced back again by Flandre.
Have to be very careful about their positioning. Faker himself a little worried about his positioning.
Yeah, he's getting caught out here by Flandre. Public execution, though, not lined up
TPs
correctly. Now Flandre has to flash away. T1 committing to look to find the kill onto the Mbessa. Oner goes after it, needs the third talent strike, and Doran's damage is enough, but off to the side at the same time. Hope is going in. It's another kill traded back as Gumayusi dies once more. Anyone's legend. They want a second, and they'll find it. A double kill to Hope as T1 reinforcements are coming in, but they're a little too slow. Rift Herald summon summoned up here in the mid lane. Tarzan, Kael, and Hope gonna knock down the tier 1 turret. And now they're gonna drive it straight into the tier 2. Tarzan at the wheel. He'll slam that one right on in. Equalizer from Doran needs to be used just to clear the wave.
Fight, but now they're on towards Adakan. Flandre, they're looking for his TP.
Okay, T1 not afraid to start this up. It's a 2,500 gold lead for anyone's legend, but nobody's here just yet. Otacon already down to 5,000 HP. Tarzan goes in for the Cyclone. Shanks ready to arrive with a grand entrance. Tarzan's low, and the Whirling Death's gonna find the execution. T1 still fighting back as the Otacon is slain by Oner, but he dies in the middle of the fight. Public execution finds no target. Gumayusi on the run. Hope, Flandre, and Kael still looking for a little bit more. Is so frustrating when you consider the 3,000 individual gold lead for Hope as the 80 carry here with a Sivir. They're moving into the enemy jungle now, and Kael again just slams Oner into the wall, but now he's in danger. Tarzan and Kael both so low, it's 2 dead on the AL side, but Hope is still alive. Faker flashes back over the wall, but Shanks is burning. Flandre caught in the middle of everyone. Anyone's legend have overplayed their hand, and T1 is ready to punish. Hope should be next to die, and Guma cashes in. Only Shanks still stands. That could have been the entire game. A dredge line from Keria, and Oner is ready to follow up. The wind becomes lightning and strikes Shanks down. Ace for nothing, for 1, for nothing, T1.
I still think if AL can keep space and keep Hope auto-attacking, they do have a lot of damage potential. You know, Tarzan and Shanks here have to have a really good setup to the team fight, though.
Okay, it's T1 with control over the river. They're gonna start up the Drake. They have the control ward inside the pit. They're gonna step back, group up as a clump, as 5 towards the bottom side of the river. AL looking for the approach. Tarzan wants to flank and he flashes over the wall. Now Faker's gonna try to get away. Hero's entrance, knocks up 3. T1 trying to scramble. The damage comes down and Flandre flashes back over the wall as Oner's first to die. T1 on the run. Kael wants a wall slam, but he can't quite find it. Hope goes in for Guma, and he cuts him down. AL, 2 for nothing in the fight.
It's also 2 for 2 on Dragons, but the Baron is up and they're teleporting up to the top side of the map. Are AL gonna go for more?
It looks like they will, understanding that this could be their moment to try and bring the game back in their favor. That fight, that flash from Tarzan, the TPs though.
Faker jumping into a spot that he should not be. He doesn't get slammed into the wall, but he's far back enough that he cannot stay alive. Hope runs after Doran. The auto attacks cutting through the rumble. A little bit more is needed, and a little bit more will be found. Keria presents himself on a silver platter, and it's AL eating good. Ace for the LPL squad.
And AL find their moment to fight back. Would love him to try and finish off his magic pen item, but unfortunately for them, you're not getting that time as T1 tries to clear out the mid wave while the bot siege begins.
Yep, no more Baron though, means considering Faker has the wave clear of an entire team as Anivia, he can take care of those super minions. Everybody else groups up to defend the only remaining tier 3 turret, but over the wall goes Tarzan. Faker's gotta try to stay safe into the back line. Public execution onto Faker. Redemption's not there in time. The egg has already been procced, but he will not be reborn. A kill onto Oner follows. AL's already found 2, and they want Gumayusi. Doran and Keria will be next to die as T1 are wiped off of Summoner's Rift. Anyone's legend with a clean ace to win game 2.
The Panda Warriors are coming alive in game 2 and showing that in Shanghai, this city will belong to them.
And they got a lot more value out of the level 1 chunk damage onto Shanks.
Shanks, though, knocked up. Keria goes for the pull right after. No flash available on this Yone. They don't have enough damage to kill him, but with only 300 health to play with, he has to drink the potion, and Shanks is not in good shape.
It truly is providing a lot of value there. It's causing a response from AL. They've got control woods all the way through the river, so they can constantly roam up to mid lane as well. And Faker is getting dangerous.
Yeah, Faker walks too close to the brush. The deadly flourish right after the EQ coming in from Tarzan. Faker still on the run. AL thinking about going further. There's your fate sealed. Shanks goes in, first blood over to Hope.
Anyone's legend collapse onto the mid lane. We're so well renowned for Hope under pressure now.
Yeah, Keria wants the pull and he finds it onto Hope, who immediately tries to get away with the bomb right over the top. They take him down. Gumayusi gets the kill. Okay, both of our junglers have their Sundered Skies available. Proto Belt also completed for Faker. T1 starting up the Drake, have it down to half HP. Kael, Tempered Fate, trying to save his jungler. Tarzan survives for now, but T1 is bringing everybody to the show. Doran in the middle of the Cataclysm. The stolen Tempered Fate. Tarzan's already down. Kael's about to die. T1's found two. Shanks is in the middle of everybody, and he has to try to get away. He wants to charge Q3. He gets over the wall for now. Anyone's Legend has already lost their jungler and their support. The two that they need to make the plays are dead in the dirt.
Doesn't have the support there, but in mid lane.
Yep, we're right back to live, and it's Gumayusi. Already used the satchel, sidesteps the deadly flourish. Tarzan steps forward, and Hope's got the killing bullet. Doran on the Cassante for the side of T1. Doran does have his Jack show completed, so does have some resistance against both
Flandre's
types of
in behind
damage.
Guma.
Flandra's coming in here on the flank, jumps in, but he doesn't find the opportunity here just yet. Tempered Fate, no target. Gumayusi getting away, caught up here with a deadly flourish. The shots fire out, the curtain is called, and Gumayusi is cold as T1 lose their bottom lane carry to complete the trade. Dragon for AL, tier 1 turret for T1.
Yeah, T1, wait a second.
Nice Tempered Fate there, flies out from Kael, and now they're looking to go in after Keria. The Mega Inferno Bomb's not gonna matter, and AL get the free pick. Yeah, it's the 2-item power spike on everybody that's not a support, for everybody except for Faker. Tempered Fate, no target connection there, but AL is going all the way in. They want Gumayusi, who already gets away, so they're going to switch over to Keria now instead. Oner trying to fight back as Shanks is in the middle of everybody. He snaps back. Keria dies first. Immortal Shield Bow keeps Shanks alive as AL are now continuing to retreat. Kael and Shanks very low. T1 goes forward. Tarzan with a dunk, but he's only going to steal his own fate. Gumayusi barely holding on, but he burns down. Faker with a kill on Tarzan. Oner chases Hope. The Jhin getting away for now as T1 have lost their bottom lane, but they've killed 3 in response. Faker after Flandre, who has to flash away. Oner flashes to try to catch him with a ball breaker. Flandre needs more distance, but he cannot find it. Abscond, abduct, goodbye to the Aurora.
Keria here trying to find some sort of pocket of Fog of War to find a very big hook. Maybe get an early summoner spell.
Okay, knocks Tarzan up into the air. Tempered Fate onto Tarzan to try to keep him safe a little bit longer here, and he does manage to buffer through the CC. Now Flandre putting some pain onto the T1 lines, but no! It's Oner going in, they lock up Flandre, they beat him down! Oner's on a killing spree, and that's -1 for AL. T1 find the pick, and then they immediately evacuate.
Does provide a lot of value when the soul fight is coming, but if Faker can't get away, this could be very problematic.
Yeah, flash immediately into the binding. Tempered Fate right after. Faker trying to get away. Goes golden to buy himself an extra second. Through the wall they go. Tempered Fate from Faker keeping himself alive as Doran's over the back line. Hope is under pressure. Faker's still alive for now. Hope gonna be cut down. Doran going in and Faker's already cut down first. Hope next to die. It's a 1-for-1. AL's in the middle of everybody as Tarzan has to try to get away, and Keria's gonna be focused, but he finds a pull over the wall beforehand. Flandre pulled in, but Doran shut down. Gumayusi over the wall with another satchel as Tarzan wants to find a little bit more, but he dies. Gumayusi and Oner working together as Guma dies to Shanks. Oner wants another. Flandre needs to get away, and he hops between worlds. The Oner can't chase him down. Flandre gets back over the wall, and Shanks is ready to flash. Oner will get knocked into the Guardian Angel. Keria is the only one left alive, and that Guardian Angel will not hear the prayers of T1. It's a 4-for-2.
They then get the mid tower, and now they're gonna force T1 to come to them.
And T1 are ready to answer the challenge. Faker with a teleport ready to join up as immediately the engage comes out from Tarzan. The target is Keria. The Shanks finds everybody. Thanks in the back line as Gumayusi tries to get away. He's scattered, but he's knocked down by Tarzan. Faker scrambling as Kael and Hope chase after him. Doran's gonna be the next target, and anyone's Legend have forced the world champions back.
What an engage from anyone's Legend! Tarzan does not hesitate. He pulls the trigger onto Keria as he approaches the pit, and it is barren for anyone's Legend.
This game, it comes down to clutch moments.
Yeah.
Guardian Angels, though, are up for Tarzan. They are up for Shanks. AL, such an advantage.
T1 trying to approach. Doran's gonna be the point man. trying to make his way in there as Gumayusi continues to throw bouncing bombs. Elder Dragon down to 3,000. Fate Seal cuts through, but the stasis going to lock everybody up. Tarzan's going to be your focus. Mega Inferno bomb over the top of the Elder is secured by anyone's legend, and they're continuing the fight. Faker is about to be executed as Doran falls too. Anyone's legend is murdering T1. Curtain call fires out. Most of the bullets won't find their target, but they won't need to. The final shot in Gumayusi is the victory shot for anyone's legend.
And they will head towards that T1 Nexus, taking this game, getting themselves to just one game away from what no other LPL team has ever been able to do. They will put T1 to series points here.
All right, the inhibitor falls. It's Oner and Keria versus AL. They have to try to distract. Oner jumps into the middle of everyone, but the Elder Dragon will roar with the might of China as anyone's legend forces T1 to match point and takes game 3.
The second seed from the LPL. So this was in the hopes that they could actually set up their Corki for success in anyone's legend, but there's so many members on the top side of the map for T1, and they don't know Doran's here.
Yeah, Doran's still there, the call of the Forge God, the paranoia over the top. Hope tries to get away with the flash, but he's still caught up in the fear. He waits to use the cleanse. Hope locked up by the Orn, but he gets enough distance. AL staying alive for now. Kael and Hope both get away. T1 goes in. Gumayusi with a killer instinct, but Hope still lives underneath the turret. Doran's going in with a bellows breath, and it's first blood over to Keria. Kael tries to counterattack with Zenith Blade, but he does not have what he needs. Doran now the target. Shanks doesn't hit him with a chain. He's got to try to get away as Tarzan wants to kill Doran. Shanks still in the back part of the fight. Tarzan with a 3-man impale. T1 still trying to fight as Faker arrives in. Shanks down to 150, and the blooming burst from Keria gets him. It's a 4-2 game, 8 minutes in, and T1 take the fight. 25 seconds until the next Drake spawns. I don't think since he's purchased the Kaenic Rookern, I have seen the shield break on Doran's health bar. He just goes up, he gets bonked a little bit, but now Tarzan is looking to change that around. Nice use of the Bellows Breath, but he is pulled back by the claw from Flandre. He tries to get underneath the turret. Doran flashes away. Flandre does secure the kill, but now he's got to get away from the turret. His teammates coming up to guarantee he survives. It's AL overloading the top side.
Faker can finish this bottom tower and then teleport in, and they do.
Yeah, Keria's going to be the target here from Kael, but he's not going to go in any further. Blast Cone gets Kael back away as Doran tries to escape. Tarzan punches him a couple times, but again, that's a very tanky Orn. Herald's going to lose all patience, and we can see Faker using the teleport to make his way over to the fight now after claiming that tier 1 turret in the bottom lane. Shanks still has a TP, but he's held in mid by Faker because of the wave clear of the Victor. Faker winning the trade against Shanks as Tarzan trades with Keria and Gumayusi. T1 with control over the Herald as AL approach. Flandre's going to look for a target, potentially here for the Death Realm. Herald down to 4K. Claw hits 2, but Flandre can't get any closer. Oner wants to take the objective. Paranoia's already gone out. Herald secured by Oner as the Ornhorn comes in, but only finds one. Keria locks up Hope. Gumayusi into the back line, and the AL AD carries already down. Oner tries to flash away. Doran in the middle of everybody, but Flandre barely stays alive. He should surely die right after the shield falls, and Oner kills him. Kael's on the run. T1's on the hunt. Everybody on AL's dropping, and T1 are absolutely demolishing the LPL team.
Top side, how do you try and enter in towards River? How do you try and spot that Atakan has already been started by T1?
AL charged with a nearly impossible task. They are going to walk forward. They are going to see the Otacon started. They're bringing in the teleport. AL have to send some sort of a Hail Mary play here. Tarzan jumps in, only finds Doran. Keria looking for the Pop Blossom. He only finds it onto Kael. The Ornhorn flies through and Hope is already down. T1 have found their marks, and they want even more. Oner is smashed by Flandre in the Rift Herald pit here at the same time as Faker stays alive, and they cannot quite do it. Finally, they get the shutdown. AL's winning the fight. T1
may have overplayed. They may have overstayed. AL find their way back into the game.
2 of hope at the moment. So this Kaisa really should be able to shred, and they do have the Baron in their sights. They're trying to draw AL to them. This is going to be a turn from T1. Watch out for the engage.
Yep, keep your eyes on Keria specifically here with the Nico. Teleport coming in from the AL side. Also T1 ready to reinforce. Ornhorn sounds off. Doran goes in. They're going to knock up Kael here at the very start, but into the back line. T1, Faker under pressure. The burst over the mid laner. They found him, but Hope is also already down. Shanks next to die. The Arcane Storm is a typhoon, but AL is fighting back. More damage to Gumayusi. Flandre wants him. Flandre can't find him. The mace will not connect over the wall. And now Tarzan goes to the killing spree. AL are winning another fight. Doran locked up. He gets away with a teleport to stay alive. Gonna grab it here. The Scryer's trinket used to see what T1 is doing. Shanks goes after Keria, chunks him out, but doesn't chunk him super low. T1 takes the Drake, and now they're ready for the 5v5. Doran summons up the Ornhorn. They're going in after Flandre. They want to focus the Mordekaiser. They've got him locked up in the CC, and Faker strikes him down. AL have lost their strongest player. Tarzan whiffs the Impale, and Oner continues moving forward. AL in a 4v5 have got to be mindful now. T1 may try to go for the Baron as they clear out mid-wave. Flandre's still dead for 35 seconds.
T1 found the thorn in their side and they yanked it out immediately. Now anyone's legend have to defend the Baron. 4 versus 5.
T1 going after the big objective. Tarzan wants to step forward here, try to find a little bit of poke. Kael and Hope now. A nice catch from Doran. Hope is already down. Tarzan has to retreat. Ishtal's impact through the wall. They can't slow him down. They can't lock him up. T1 back onto the Baron yet again. Oner down to 25% HP. AL, they're going to have their top laner back up.
Full point, 2.5 minutes here for T1. T1 returning to the Baron though once again. They're looking to draw AL in.
All right, AL ready to try to stop him, but Gumayusi kills this objective very, very quickly. TP coming in from AL. Keria on the flank, off to the right, ready for the pincer attack. T1 gonna pull off the Baron. They do not want to allow it to get low enough for Tarzan to try to steal. Doran jumps in, knocks Kael up into the air. Shanks going in after Keria, wants to stop him. Ornhorn through the middle of the fight, and once again, Flandre's gonna get focused, but he is not dead. Big impale from Tarzan. A lot of damage comes through. Keria dies before the Pop Blossom. Flandre in a little bit of trouble now, but he's still fighting. The shield keeps him alive, but T1 is too strong. AL running now. They've lost 2. T1 have only lost their support. It's both supports down. Flandre, the extra man dead, means T1 win the fight.
Yeah, they melt the front line. Shanks is actually creeping around, but there's not much he can get. He's looking for an angle onto Guma.
If he can find Gumayusi, that's the angle. That's the only way to win it, and there he goes! Shanks with the hero play as Hope tries to escape from Doran, but the Bellows breath takes him down. Tarzan wants to get away from Oner, from Faker. He can't quite get there. He's feared up. Shanks nearly kills off Oner, but a beautiful spell shield keeps him alive. Shanks is trapped inside the gravity field, and Faker takes him down. Tarzan on the run. He's the only one left alive from the original fight. Kael has finally respawned. Faker and Doran are going to continue the chase now. If they can get a delayed kill on this jungler, they can almost guarantee themselves either a soul or a Baron, and that's exactly what they're doing. Tarzan will not be allowed to dig through the wall. The Arcane Storm silences him as he tries away to the Baron empowered minions. Kael on the side of the terrain here in bottom lane, looking for what might be AL's final desperate chance to stay in this game. Doran continues playing the point man here for the T1 side as another wave crashes into the tier 3 turret. A little bit more damage onto Tarzan, but it's not a lot. They don't need a lot, they just need time to chip away at these tier 3s. Doran with a Bellows Breath to get through the claw. Flandre loses half his HP. The Mordekaiser's gonna be your target. Here goes the Ornhorn. They knock Flandre up into the air, but again, nobody under serious threat. Tarzan with an impale onto one, but he's about to die. He flashes away. Guma flashes in. Keria with a 3-man Pop Blossom will seal the fate of anyone's legend. Guma with a triple. Guma with a quadra. Only Flandre stands. Gumayusi finally dies, but AL will die with him. T1 will not go quietly. They will force down the Nexus turrets. They will move to the Nexus, and they will take us to Silver Scrapes.
through mid to deny Tarzan the smite, but it's bot lane that might be in trouble.
Yeah, Gumayusi and Keria having to back away. The zap does not connect on Gumayusi. Tarzan down here in the bottom lane. Guma wants first blood on the Kael. It's going to be secured by Keria. A 1-for-1.
T1 constantly just pushing in, gaining little advantages, objective after objective going their way.
And in these sorts of situations, you'd like to fall back to your basics of guys like Tarzan and Kael, who AL played through for so much of this split. Oh, Tarzan though.
Tarzan with the Arctic Assault trying to get back into it now. Shanks could be the one under pressure, wants to fire back into the T1 lines. Oner flashing away, staying alive, but there's the Glacial Prison. Only connects under the tank, but Flandre's arrived into the fight. They fight too! Anyone's Legend got exactly what they were looking for. Faker at least gets one back, but he falls as well. Anyone's Legend got exactly what they needed. Can shred that tanky front line that you're talking about and let Hope start to get some resets. Now AL moving in, they're going to start up the Otacon. TP ready to arrive from the T1 side. Otacon loses his patience. AL have to be a bit careful. Flandre here on the side, he's going to find Doran, who finds him, as now the Solar Snare finds Tarzan, and T1 are moving forward. They charm up the enemy jungler. Tarzan's already down, but Doran dies. Hope is excited, but where's the rest of the fight? Keria tries to get away, Gumayusi right beside him. Flandre here on the front line as Oner's going to be chopped up. The Mundo dies. Hope's on a killing spree. Flandre going forward, but Faker takes him out. Hope, Shanks, and Kael trying to get away. Guma, Keria, and Faker stepping forward. The Otacon, it's impatient, but it's so close to dead. It is stolen away by Faker himself.
Mel wins those every time. Outside.
This is massive. If T1 gets it, it's a Hex Soul 23 minutes into the game. AL knows they cannot afford to give that away. Hope looking for a little bit of poke, only finds Oner. AL with Shanks off to the side, looking to try to get some important burst there with the Syndra. One quick stun on the Doran isn't a whole lot. Faker 3-1-0 on the Mel. Rebuttal timing is also going to be huge in any of these fights. Flandre off to the side is going to be seen there by the ward. Jumps over the wall there with the Umbral Dash. T1 taking a little bit of poke here. Scatter the weak, no target found. Shanks still looking for a little bit more opportunity there. Oner losing about 1,000 HP here so far, but he is the Mundo, has plenty to work with. More zaps fired through. T1, they have the Dragon down to 2/3 HP. AL continuing to step forward. Gumayusi trying to stay very far back. Goes for the arrow. He finds it on Shanks. AL's mid laner is under pressure, but he gets away for now. Doran creating space. Dragon at 40%. Tarzan still nearby, but so is Oner. Dragon losing patience. Flandre's World Ender is about to expire. Doran still here on the front line. Hit with the Q1 of Flandre. Oner at about half HP. Shanks looking for a little bit more. Dragon at 2K. Glacial Prison fired out. But it's claimed the soul for T1, but Oner has already died. AL have got to find more unless they want to lose the game here. Doran takes a ton of burst. Scatter the weak, the damage from the unleashed power. Shanks has another kill, and Tarzan is chasing after Faker. He gets the smite for the slow. They're gonna find another kill, but it's Hex Tech Soul for T1. 3 kills to AL, a 2,000 gold lead, but Baron's not on the map. Front line and get excited as fast as possible.
Clutch moments, Flowers. Faker secured the Otacon. Oner secures the Dragon Soul.
Gumayusi.
But AL...
Oh, Gumayusi hit by the Scatter the Weak, but there is enough distance and the shielding from Keria to make sure that there's no follow-up from AL after.
Still, I like this from AL. See if they can find those picks. See if they can play off a vision. That's some damage onto Oner.
Yeah, they're going to commit onto the Doctor. Mundo! Shanks has killed him. Oner is dead. You want to talk about clutch moments? There you go. Tarzan and Flandre going forward. Faker's going to be caught. So much damage from AL. Faker about to die. Shanks on a rampage. Anyone's Legend. 2 huge kills.
The soul is not enough when the heart of the LPL is with anyone's Legend. They will move over towards the Baron as Shanghai erupts.
Doran, Keria, and Gumayusi, 3v5 if nothing else. They need to stop the Baron from going over to AL right now. Shanks on the side, no ulti available for the Syndra here just yet. Tarzan over the wall wants to go in after Keria. Infernal Chains are going to connect. This Seraphine is down. Tarzan is traded, but Doran has died too. It's Gumayusi against anyone's Legend as he tries to kite and fight, but he's stunned. Good night, but kill for Shanks. AL delayed ace. Now it's going to reset. AL, they send Flandre into the mid lane to answer the wave, clear that one out. The rest of AL remaining by the Drake.
You have to be so careful as AL. One of these spells lands and that Hextech so slows you. It can give T1 the opportunity to chase you down. As Flandre on the reset picked up his GA.
Okay, T1, they're moving into the river. They're taking total control now. Hope wants to grab the red buff, and Flandre needs to get back out and join up with the rest of AL here for the fight. Red buff secured. Elder Drake started, but so slowly. Flandre gonna move forward, try to clear away the control ward. They're going in after the Aatrox. They set him up with the arrow. Flandre has been caught at a critical moment. Over the wall goes Tarzan. Wild Growth coming in from Kael. Guardian Angel will blink Flandre back, but where is the damage on AL's side? Doran into the back line. Kael is already down. Doran killed in response. T1 pushing forward. Shanks the next kill. Hope trying to kite. He needs to get away because T1 have won the fight 2-1.
Flandre is trying to reset and teleport back in. He's trying to link up with the team. The minions are here. They need to turn it. That's the teleport.
Okay, T1, they've got to understand this Aatrox is probably their target. Flandre arrives. Solar Snare looking to lock him up. Oner taking a ton of damage. Hope is excited. Flandre's got the kill. Solar Snare on Hope, but it's not going to do any more. Flandre's going to try to get away. Goes back in here for the Q1. Tarzan wants to engage with the Gumayusi, but he cannot find him. Flandre over the wall. Wants Faker. Can't get the damage. Hope can't do it either. Gumayusi's still alive. T1 out team fighting to Legend for another delayed ace.
T1 kite into the alcove of death. They take
Well, it's gonna need a lot more than just some hopes, some dreams, some prayers. They're gonna need this Elder timer to expire if they want to have a chance against T1, who now have nearly a 3,000 gold lead on top of all those buffs. Elder getting down very low, about 20 seconds or so left here on this buff. The next wave about to arrive, and you know T1 are going to force their way in for a second lane of super minions. Doran guiding the top lane minions up now as well as the second inhibitor falls, and T1 are looking for the end of the game. The Elder's got 15 seconds left on it. T1 guiding the Baroned up minions toward the Nexus turrets. Solar Snare not hitting a target. Flandre and the rest of AL scrambling to try to defend. Nexus turret's down to about half HP. Oner takes some burst. Tarzan takes more. T1 looking for the engage. They found Flandre, but he gets away. Half HP on the front line of AL. T1 pushing forward. They've made their way on the Nexus. AL scrambles to defend. Doran can't do it. History is written by the victors. And yet again, T1 turns the page of the LPL. They will once again earn their place in the semifinals.